My name is Ben. I started noticing my hair loss probably late 20s, but really paying attention in my early 30s. And the impetus to me even getting a hair transplant is my barber got one several years ago. He kept saying, man, you have great hair for a hair transplant. You should really consider it, because I was balding in the front. I wasn't balding in the back, and I already have a big forehead. And I didn't want to be just another bald guy, because I have a bigger head. And so my barber kind of took me through the steps of, okay, here's what the process is like. Of course, you're really worried about any kind of procedure, because as a man, you're not privy to those kinds of procedures, so you don't really know what it entails. And you're like, you know what, I'll deal with it. I'm gonna take minoxidil, I'll take, there was Hims at the time. But you're not seeing the results that you wanted. And I remember there was a moment in the shower in the morning where I brushed my hair through my head, or my hand through my hair, and you would see how much hair would come out. And like, no matter if it was a good day or a bad day, your day kind of starts a little bit more negative. And someone like me, I'm very critical of myself and others. And it was tough for me to start days at a less than positive point. And fast forward to today, I have too much energy. I have too much positivity. I look at myself in the mirror and I do feel pride, and you can't put a price on that. So once I realized that I definitely wanted to get a hair transplant, immediately the internet takes you overseas. I did not want to go overseas because I've traveled extensively overseas, and those flights back, even sober without a hair transplant, are challenging. And I couldn't imagine what it'd be like on a plane. And so it wasn't a matter of price, it was a matter more of, I want the best. And so once I was ready to pull that trigger and realizing, okay, I want somebody local, we did a series of interviews. The biggest difference that I noticed between George, Jacques, and the competition is FUE is small enough to be nimble, but they're large enough to have the best technology. And so what I mean by that is, they told me, hey, we're doing one surgery a day. And that was the difference, because I remember the guy in Newport, although he was super accredited and very credible, he wasn't the guy doing the surgery. He was the guy helping with the design, but he wasn't the person actually doing the procedure with me. And the level of service and detail that George and Jacques went through, they truly went through every single step of, here's what's gonna happen, here's what you're gonna feel like, here's after that. There was a very meticulous timeline. And also, once I did the procedure, understanding, because I've had other friends do hair transplants and truly not gotten the results that I've gotten, is because of the follow-ups. The meticulousness, that's a word that I think is common with FUE. They are so detailed, not just about the pre-op, but also the post-op. And that is something that really helped me, because you gotta understand, you just had a procedure done, now you're by yourself. Now you have to do everything, and it always felt like they were there. Day of the surgery, got into an Uber at 4:30, I had to be here around 5:30. The amount of nerves that I had were, if you were to tell me 1 through 10, they were a 12 out of 10, right? You're so concerned because you've never done something like this. You've done the research, you've spoken to the right people, but you've never done something like this. So the day of, you're super nervous. The minute you come in, you kind of realize, oh wow, everyone's here for me, right? There's no one else getting a surgery done. You are the star of the show there. And so immediately, they kind of tell me, hey, here's what's gonna happen today. Truly like an agenda, almost like a professional meeting. Here's what's gonna happen throughout the day, because it is around 10, 12 hours. You really don't feel, then you head into a room and you see you have 2 nurses, George was taking care of me, and then another doctor. All of them introduce themselves. And again, it's that white glove concierge service. You don't feel like you are a cog in the machine. You are hair patient number 1 out of 5 that day. You are 1 of 1 that day. So everyone's giving you this like very special, undivided attention that you're like, okay, these people genuinely care about what we're doing here. It's not just my head, it's their work, it's their reputation. Then the real fun came when they gave me an IV. It was my first IV ever. All those nerves went away. But once you're numb, I remember you're kind of super relaxed, not kind of, but you're very relaxed. And so they put you face forward. And this is the process of them taking out the grafts. That process lasted a couple hours. Was it painful? I didn't feel a thing because I was numb. I was very relaxed, and I actually think I fell asleep. Then Jacques, George's brother, came in, and the hairline process came. Me being just like anyone else, I said, I want the lowest hairline possible because I have a big forehead. But they said, and I remember they said, listen, if you never had hair there, you're never gonna grow hair then. Well, it won't stick, so you have to go with your natural kind of hairline. That process I thought would have taken 5 minutes. It was close to an hour. That's the level of meticulousness and detail that they go into. Is they draw the hairline, they ask you, what do you think? And it's this back and forth that doesn't end in 5 minutes. Genuinely, it was close to an hour, because that's the outline of the painting, if you will. So once the procedure was done, my brother actually took me home. The recovery process, you really, like I said earlier, that second half is up to you. You have to make sure that all the work that George and Jacques did pays off, because the grafts don't stick to your head for about 2 weeks. And so anything you do can knock them out. Luckily, I sleep on my back, and my wife is very kind. I think I had 7 pillows every night that she washed every day. And the first month is really cool because you get to see your finished hairline. You get to see all the grafts in. After a certain period, I believe a month or 2, they fall out and regrow. But the first month, you're like, I look muddy, right? I went to Passover dinner the second night, right? Surrounded by 20 people, and all of them were like, this looks incredible. But again, the post-op kind of pamphlet they gave me, or packet, it was so detailed. Here's what you do day 1, here's what you do day 2. I truly never had to call George and say, hey, what's going on with this? There was a moment, I remember the first time I actually called him was maybe a week or 2 in, where the numbing kind of went away, and it kind of felt like a little bit of a cactus on the back of my head, and he said, hey, that's perfectly normal, no problem at all. There was never a moment that I called or texted George that I didn't get a response in under an hour, and that's a huge reason why you should choose this place. I'm telling you, 1.5 years later, I'm still texting George. I'm still joking with George. When I just saw George, we hugged like we're family, because this is somebody that's changed my life. George has never told me, hey man, we're done here. Thanks so much. I've been talking to you for 1 year. That's what our package includes. He's never limited my time. He's always giving me his ear and his opinion, and that's something that I find just a lot of value in, because this is not a procedure for the light of heart in terms of, this is a big procedure. This is something that you have to take pretty serious, or else all the work that you just went through, 10, 12 hours, will go away. Listen, if you've considered getting a hair transplant, just like I did, you're super scared, right? Because it's a procedure that you've never done before. But how many hours out of the day, how many hours a month, how many hours a year have you looked in the mirror and you just haven't been satisfied? That was me. Fast forwarding now, 1.5 years later, the amount of mental space that I have to focus on other things besides my hair has led me to be a better partner, a better worker, a better person, because I'm not so concerned all the time about what my hair looks like. And so I fully fledged, like full-hearted recommend LAFUE, because they delivered on their promise. They never, I'm, like I said, in sales, there's a slogan that we say that's under promise, over deliver, UPOD. They absolutely did that. But what they delivered exceeded any expectation I thought. I would do it again here, without a doubt. When I'm in my 50s and I need it again, there's nowhere else I'd rather consider than here.